Her smile appears innocent, soft, almost accidental. Yet in that flicker of teeth, that curve of lips, there is an ancient code. She knows exactly what she's doing. You think it's kindness, friendliness, a passing spark of joy. But beneath the surface, her smile is the oldest trap in the history of desire. The Greeks carved it into their myths, the poets drowned in it. Kingdoms have fallen because a man could not resist it. And here you stand, pretending it means nothing, blind to the way her lips tremble at the edge of temptation. The smile of a woman is not neutral, it is not casual, but it is layered with archetypes of seduction and concealment, a silent ritual designed to awaken the animal in you while cloaking her intent behind innocence. Watch carefully. The lips do not just stretch, they part ever so slightly, leaving a doorway between restraint and hunger. Her eyes may lower, her head may tilt, her body angles itself to appear smaller, softer, yet all of it is camouflage for the dangerous truth. She wants you to feel something without her ever confessing it. You have seen this smile in the wild and dismissed it. You have said, she's just being polite. Foolishness. The feminine never gives away her secrets directly. She hides them in gestures, shadows, and moments that pass so quickly your logical mind cannot grasp them. That is why you stumble. That is why you lose her before you even realize she opened the gate. The smile is not simply an expression, it is a weapon. It disarms, it lowers your defenses, it taps into the boy you once were, longing for approval, validation, the warmth of maternal acceptance. Jung knew this. The anima resides in every man, the internal feminine image that governs how he responds to women. And when she smiles at you, she awakens that anima. She calls to the hidden boy, to the man's unconscious longing for the divine feminine. That is why you feel the spark in your chest, the sudden quickening of breath. She is not smiling at your joke. She is smiling at your soul, at the hunger she knows is already there. But you, like so many men, confuse the layers. You believe the smile is about her joy, her character, her mood. No, it is about you. It is a mirror turned outward, designed to stir your desire without risking hers. Women have learned this dance across millennia. They smile to signal, to test, to lure. They can ignite your entire body with a fleeting flash of lips and teeth, then vanish, leaving you haunted, restless, gnawing at the edge of your own imagination. Consider how her smile shifts, depending on what she seeks. There is the closed lip smile, subtle, tight, holding back. That is control. She is showing interest, but denying release. There is the parted lip smile, more open, more vulnerable, hinting at softness. That is invitation. And then there is the lingering smile, held a moment too long, accompanied by the slight narrowing of the eyes. That one is the dagger. That is the one that marks you. You've felt it before. The way your chest tightens, the way your thoughts stumble into chaos. She knows it. She feels your pulse change. That is when she owns you without a word spoken. You think you are strong, that you cannot be shaken. Yet tell me, how many times has a smile pulled you into fantasy before you even touched her hand? How many times have you mistaken it for accident, only to realize later she was crafting your desire with precision? Women do not play chess with words. They play with gestures, signals, body language encoded into the subconscious mind. Her smile is the queen's move, the hidden advance that puts your king in check before you've even noticed the board. And here's the forbidden truth. Her smile is not only about attraction, it is about power. To spark your desire is to bind your focus. Once your attention is captured, your logic weakens, your rationality dissolves. That is why the smile is feared and worshipped in equal measure. It is the serpent's whisper in Eden, the Mona Lisa's eternal secret, the reason men write songs they cannot explain. So what about you? When she smiled at you last time, did you see it for what it was? Or did you stumble like every other man, blind to the shadows moving behind her lips? You know the answer. You have been fooled again and again. You've ignored the signal, thinking you were too smart to fall. Yet it is not about intelligence. It is about awareness, about seeing with eyes unclouded by comfort. Remember this. Her smile is not just sweetness. It is a ritual, a gateway, an omen. Desire does not arrive with words. It arrives with a curl of lips and the silent fire behind her gaze. And if you cannot read it, you will forever be ruled by it. Her smile is not a simple burst of joy. It is layered, coded, deliberate. To the untrained man, it looks like friendliness. To the awakened man, it is a map of unconscious seduction. Every curve, every flicker, every tension in her lips is a message written in a language older than speech. Women learned long ago that desire, when spoken aloud, is dangerous, so they placed it in symbols, in gestures, in signals too subtle for the dull to catch. When she smiles at you, there is always something hidden. Sometimes it is curiosity, a flicker of the hunt. Sometimes it is caution, a mask shielding her true thoughts. And sometimes it is the fire of forbidden attraction, burning but concealed, because to reveal it openly would strip her of power. She must remain untouchable, enigmatic, beyond certainty. That is the essence of feminine allure, never fully owned, never fully confessed, always existing in that liminal space between truth and concealment. Think of the archetype of the enchantress. She does not scream her desire. She whispers it in symbols, half gestures, lingering gazes. Her smile is the veil she hides behind, the shimmer of silk that both reveals and conceals. It makes you lean forward, makes you guess, makes you obsess. Men have crossed deserts, fought wars, and written epics because of a single woman's smile. Cleopatra did not need an army to conquer Caesar. Helen of Troy did not need to wield a sword to burn 1,000 ships. The smile was enough. What you miss is the detail. A smile is not one thing. There are micro expressions that leak through, and if you can see them, you step into a realm other men cannot access. Notice how her smile shifts depending on proximity. Across the room, her lips curve softly, eyes grazing over you before darting away. That is the fishing line. She casts it, waits to see if you bite. Up close, if she parts her lips ever so slightly, showing a hint of tongue or the gleam of teeth, that is escalation. It is primal. She is unconsciously signaling fertility, health, and readiness. And if her smile lingers, if it fades slowly instead of disappearing, that is her keeping the gate open just long enough for you to step through. But most men never step through. They second guess. They tell themselves, she smiles at everyone. They dismiss the moment and retreat into self-doubt. By the time they realize the door was open, she has already closed it. You know this pattern. You've lived it. You replay the memory later, in bed, staring at the ceiling, wondering if she was waiting for you to move. The answer is yes, she was. But you didn't. This is the tragic blindness of modern men, conditioned to fear rejection, to rationalize everything, to strip mystery from the feminine. They cannot read the oldest signals. They believe attraction is always spoken, obvious, logical. They forget that the feminine is an ocean, deep, concealed, full of currents invisible on the surface, and her smile is the ripple that betrays what lies beneath. Understand this: the smile is not only about attraction, it is also about control. When she smiles at you in a way that makes your stomach tighten, she has gained leverage. Your focus narrows, your heartbeat accelerates, and suddenly you are the one leaning forward. She can retreat, delay, play, and you will follow. That is the dangerous brilliance of the smile. It gives her power without cost. She risks nothing, but gains everything: your attention, your imagination, your hunger. Now, here is the forbidden truth most men cannot stomach. Many women smile not because they feel desire, but because they want to spark yours. A smile can be bait, it can be manipulation, it can be a test. Sometimes she smiles to see if you'll break your frame, if you'll stumble into supplication, if you'll trade your power for the hope of her affection. This is not cruelty, it is instinct. The feminine has always tested the masculine to measure his strength. If a smile can unman you, you are not worthy of her submission. So ask yourself, how do you respond? Do you melt under her lips, handing her the crown without a fight? Or do you see the signal, acknowledge it, and remain grounded, forcing her to reveal more before you give your desire? That is the difference between a man ruled by the feminine and a man who rules himself. A smile can be the door to passion, but it can also be the leash around your neck. The choice is not hers, it is yours, but only if you are awake enough to see. Her smile lingers in your memory long after the moment passes. That is the true danger. It doesn't just exist in the instant, it echoes. Hours later, you catch yourself replaying it, dissecting it, wondering if it meant what you think it did. This is the forbidden genius of the feminine smile. It plants a seed in your unconscious, and it grows into obsession. Think of it as a spell. A woman does not need chance or rituals. She needs only the curve of her lips to live rent-free inside your mind. And once she is there, she controls you without lifting a finger. You will check your phone, hoping she reaches out. You will wander in thought, replaying her laugh, her glance, her smile. She has entered your system like smoke seeping through cracks, invisible but suffocating. Why is this so effective? Because the smile carries evolutionary weight. To your primal brain, a woman's smile is not just pleasant, it is an ancient indicator of safety, openness, and hidden invitation. For millennia, men relied on these signals to determine whether to approach, whether to risk rejection, whether to gamble on desire. That is why your nervous system lights up when she smiles at you. It bypasses logic and goes straight into your gut. It tells you, this is fertile ground, move closer. Yet at the same time, it's wrapped in ambiguity. She never says it outright. She leaves it hidden, coded, plausible deniability intact. This is no accident, it is strategy. A woman must protect herself. If she shows too much, and she risks judgment, rejection, loss of power. But if she conceals too much, she risks invisibility. The smile is the perfect compromise. It hints without confessing, it lures without binding, it invites without cost. Here lies the paradox. Men demand clarity, women thrive in ambiguity. A man wants to know, does she want me or not? A woman knows that keeping you uncertain is more powerful than answering you. Her smile is not designed to give you certainty. It is designed to keep you suspended, on edge, alert, hungry. And here's where most men collapse. They chase certainty. They take her smile and twist it into a promise. They believe it means she is already theirs. They rush in too fast, reveal too much, pedestalize her before she has earned it. She loses respect. Her desire withers, and the very thing that lured him in evaporates. All because he could not see the difference between signal and surrender. You must understand, a smile is not surrender. It is a test. It is an opening move. The woman is saying, here is the door. Will you enter like a man, or will you crumble like a boy? The weak man fumbles. The strong man pauses. He observes, he holds his frame, he acknowledges the signal without drowning in it. That pause, controlled, deliberate, is what forces her to reveal more. This is the truth you've avoided. You've been broken by smiles before. Don't deny it. You've sat across from a woman, her lips curled, her eyes alight, and you gave everything away. You shifted in your chair, your voice trembled, your laughter became too eager. She saw it all, and in that moment her power over you was complete. You thought her smile was innocent, but it was a mirror reflecting your weakness. And here is where the forbidden edge cuts deeper. Some women smile not because of attraction, but because of dominance. They smile when you stumble, when you fail, when they sense your hunger outpacing your strength. That smile is not invitation. It is victory. She has you, and she knows it. You must learn to distinguish between the smile of desire and the smile of control. One leads to intimacy, the other to enslavement. Ask yourself, how many times have you confused the two? How many times have you mistaken a woman's satisfaction at your weakness for a signal of interest? You gave chase, thinking she wanted you, when in truth she only wanted to watch you unravel. This is why the smile is dangerous. It can feed your fantasy or expose your fragility. And only the man who sees beneath the veil can tell the difference. So next time her lips curve in your direction, do not melt, do not rush, do not hand her your crown. Hold still, breathe, see it for what it is, a signal, not a confession. If she truly desires, she will reveal more. If she is only playing, she will retreat when you do not crumble. That is how you reclaim your power. Her smile is both fire and smoke. It can warm you or it can blind you. The choice, as always, is in your hands. Her smile is a battlefield disguised as softness. You think you are safe, lulled by sweetness, yet it is in that very softness that the most dangerous power resides. A woman does not need to raise her voice, does not need to argue or demand. She only needs to let her lips curve at the right moment, and you will hand her your focus, your strength, your attention, all without realizing the surrender. Consider how this plays out in everyday encounters. You're walking down the street. A woman meets your eye for half a second, then lets a subtle smile pass across her face. Not wide, not exaggerated, just a trace, almost as if she is suppressing something private. And suddenly, your mind ignites. Was that for me? Did I imagine it? Should I turn back? She doesn't linger, she doesn't explain. That smile becomes your burden, not hers. You carry it, you replay it, you let it gnaw at you. This is the genius of the feminine. She plants the thought in your head and lets you water it with your obsession. Jung would call this projection. You pour your fantasies into her gesture, imagining depth where there may be none, imagining invitation where there may be only testing. The smile acts as a canvas, and you paint it with your hunger. But here is the forbidden truth. she knows you will. Women have practiced this art since girlhood, watching how their smiles make boys stammer, how a curve of lips can bend authority, how it can turn punishment into pardon. They are not oblivious. They are trained, whether consciously or not, in the weaponization of the smile. Look deeper at the mechanics. The tilt of her head as she smiles changes the meaning entirely. A downward tilt paired with an upward glance and a soft smile signals submission, vulnerability, a call to your protective instincts. An upward tilt with a broad, confident smile signals dominance, playfulness, and control. A sideways tilt paired with a coy half smile signals mystery, teasing, the withholding of full intent. Each variation strikes at a different part of your psyche, drawing out protector, pursuer, or fool, all depending on how aware you are of the game. And yet, most men remain blind. They see only a smile. They flatten it into one dimension, missing the shades, the codes, the subtle messages that separate an invitation from a test. This blindness costs them everything. They either fail to act when desire is present, letting opportunity vanish, or they act too soon when the smile was only a measure of weakness, falling into traps of supplication and humiliation. You have lived this cycle. You know the feeling. A woman smiled at you once, and you froze, paralyzed between action and fear. By the time you moved, she had already turned away. Another time, a woman smiled, and you leapt too eagerly, revealing your hunger, and she recoiled, not because she didn't want you, but because you handed yourself over without challenge. These moments carve into your memory because they expose the truth. You were unprepared to read the code, but what happens when a man can read it? What happens when he sees through the smile, not with suspicion, but with awareness? The power shifts. The feminine smile, once an unchallenged weapon, becomes a signal he can choose how to answer. If he feels the heat of desire behind it, he steps forward with strength, meeting it without losing himself. If he feels only testing or manipulation, he holds his ground, forcing her to reveal more or retreat. This is the mark of mastery, not reacting like a puppet, but responding like a king. Here lies the climax of realization. The smile is never just surface. It is layered, so archetypal, dripping with psychological weight. It is Eve offering the fruit, knowing exactly what it will awaken. It is the siren singing across the waves, pulling sailors into shipwreck. It is the forbidden whisper that makes a man question his own resolve. And unless you train your eye to see, you will be wrecked, you will be tempted, you will be led by forces you do not understand. So I ask you, are you still going to dismiss her smile as just friendliness? Or will you start to see it as the dangerous spark it truly is? Will you keep stumbling, replaying lost moments in your head? Or will you sharpen your vision and claim the awareness that separates the blind from the initiated? Remember this. Her smile is not light. It is shadow dressed as light. It is desire cloaked as innocence. It is danger masked as softness. Learn to see or remain prey. There comes a moment when her smile is no longer just a fleeting gesture, but an initiation. It is her way of pulling you into a secret world without a word spoken. You notice it, the way her lips curl just as you finish speaking, the pause, the spark in her eyes. She is not smiling because you were clever. She is smiling because she wants you to feel the pull, to step into the tension between what is shown and what is forbidden. This is why men are undone by smiles. They don't just see them, they feel them. A smile can turn a mundane interaction into something electric, something that lingers in the bloodstream like fire. You walk away, but the echo remains, and that is the proof that her smile has power over you. It lingers because it is not neutral. It was charged with unconscious intent. Here is the truth women will never admit outright. They smile to awaken your hunger without exposing their own. They know what it does to you. They know it bends your focus, scrambles your logic, makes you restless. The feminine has always known this. That is why the smile is so dangerous. It is cloaked, deniable, untouchable. She can say, I was just being friendly, while knowing it has already carved itself into your thoughts. That plausible deniability is her shield. She can retreat while you remain haunted. And this is the essence of feminine power. It works best when unseen. A man expects force, confrontation, clarity. A woman operates through ambiguity, through whispers, through smiles that pierce deeper than 1,000 words. Her strength lies in being able to move your world without lifting a weapon. One smile, and you are already shifting in your chair, leaning closer, losing frame. One smile, and your kingdom crumbles, not because she asked for it, but because you gave it away. You have felt this before. Don't lie to yourself. A woman smiled, and you lost sleep. You read meaning into every detail. You waited for signs that never came. You hoped, you chased, you faltered, all because you did not see the code. You thought it was pure, but it was layered. You thought it was yours, but it was hers. The forbidden truth is this. A woman's smile is not a gift. It is a test. Every time her lips curve toward you, she is asking silently, will you melt, or will you hold your ground? Will you become another slave to my aura, or will you remain untouchable, forcing me to reveal more? And that is the divide between men who are ruled by women and men who rule themselves. The weak man dissolves into her smile, drowning in fantasies, us handing her his crown before she has earned it. The strong man sees the smile, feels its heat, but does not bow. He holds his frame, his eyes steady, his presence unshaken. And in that stillness, the power shifts. She must escalate. She must reveal more. She must move beyond the smile if she wants to capture him. This is what you must understand. Female desire is hidden, encoded, dangerous for the unaware. A smile is not just joy. It is a mask, a weapon, an invitation, and a test all at once. If you do not see this, you will always be her prey. If you awaken to it, you can finally meet her at the level of truth, where attraction becomes a dance of equals, not a chain around your neck. So the next time her lips curl and her eyes spark, do not be fooled. Do not surrender blindly. Read the signal, see the code, respond with strength, not supplication. Because in the end, desire is never spoken, only signaled. Learn to see it, or be blind forever. Subscribe to the Stoic Path for more archetypal truths, Jungian psychology, and timeless philosophy.